Hey everyone, Dave here from Casual Shooters Podcast. Just a couple things real quick. Laser app. On our website, I've added a new page. If you go to sponsors, you can see links to all of our sponsors. There's a link for Laser app. You can get 15% off with our code. It's on the website, but it's a great dry fire tool. It's a shot timer and recorder. So it'll record your first shot, splits, transitions. It's even diverse enough that you can set up arrays in different rooms so that you can have to move from one to another. It'll record everything. Amazing device. Check it out. Go to our webpage, casualshooterpodcast.com. Also, Hoist. We've got our discount code on the webpage again, same page. But you get 10% off there, and we're talking IV level hydration for those of you shooting major matches this summer, even your local matches. It will help keep you hydrated. So go check it out. And also Gun Butter. There's a link for Gun Butter. You can get 20% off with our link. It's excellent lubrication for your pistols. Put a little on your lugs, the grease on the lugs of your rifle. Good to go. All right, so go to our webpage, casualshooterpodcast.com. Go to the sponsor page. Links to their website right there, and the codes are on there for you. All right? Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Welcome to this week's edition of the Casual Shooters Podcast, your premier podcast for the casual shooter. This week you have me, Dave, and you have Leo.
On a delay.
For him. All right. This week we also have a guest, a GM in Carry Optics. He's about to shoot Carry Optics Nationals, and he's going to be on the Super Squad. Everybody give a warm round of applause for Garran Singleton. Ooh, where's my mouse at? There we go. Hey, Garran.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself?
All right. My name is Garran Singleton. I'm a USPSA Carry Optics and Production Grandmaster. Been shooting for almost 7 years now in competition, and I'm just happy to be here and honored to have this opportunity.
7 years. Okay. That will help me when I ask the questions later. All right. Have you heard any of our past episodes?
I have. I've listened to quite a few while I was working out, actually. After you messaged me, I went and did a little research.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. So you're about to be quizzed.
I'm about to be quizzed hard on the important questions.
That's right. The most important questions of your entire life.
That's it.
All right, Leo, you want to take it away?
All right. Well, hopefully this isn't too significant of a delay. But first question that we always ask is, what is your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'm going to have to say The Patriot.
Oh,
Strong pull.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right,
also ironic given that Mel Gibson is Aussie pretending to be American.
Well, it is acting.
Same.
It is acting.
Fake. All right, so what's your favorite book?
So I'm not really super into reading, but one of my favorite childhood books was the book Inkheart. I don't remember the author. It did like Inkheart, Ink Spell. I think there was another one. It's like the only book from my childhood that I can remember. And like I remember every little scene, how your childhood, imagination just takes over in books. I remember all of it. It was a great book. I watched the movie when it first came out. It was great.
What's it about?
So it's about this guy who anything he reads comes true. So he can pick up any book and read it, and whatever it is immediately comes true and comes to life.
Wow, I would read nothing but winning books on winning. I'd win everything.
Somebody, without giving too much away of the movie or the book, somebody tried to kidnap him so he could read, you just got $1 million, and it would immediately come true. It's super cool.
Go.
Super cool book and movie.
All right, cool. I'll check that out.
Cornelia Funke is the author.
There we go.
Yeah. I looked it up. I didn't know that.
Google helped you out there.
Yeah. I Googled it. Yeah, not gonna lie. I knew it because of the movie, so I didn't realize it was a book.
Yeah, the book is way better from what I remember, but the movie was really good too.
So,
Well, our next question is, as we refer to it, the Huggy Special. So this will be interesting. Who is your favorite superhero?
Probably gonna have to go with Batman.
it seems to be a popular one.
It is a pretty popular answer, but it's the same reason. He doesn't have any superpowers. He decided he wanted to do something, and he got really good at it.
Threw a whole lot of money at it.
Threw a whole lot of money at it. Money will fix anything.
You know what, Garran? This is the one time we always talk about it's not the gear that makes you a good shooter, it's the person. In this case, it's the gear that makes him Batman.
Yeah, that's a fact. 100%.
He wouldn't be Batman without his belt and his batarang and his freaking plane and his supercopter.
Yeah.
People
just
say
be a
money
dude in
can't buy
spandex.
happiness. People say money can't buy happiness, but I can't think of a single issue I can't solve with money.
Truth. I mean,
There you go.
you're not wrong.
Yeah, sure.
As my boss is fond of saying, you are not wrong. All right. So, favorite gun and caliber, and they do not have to be same. Like, they don't have to match up.
Favorite gun's going to have to be a Winchester 1897 trench gun.
Ooh.
Growing up, seeing those in movies, watching them, even as an adult, I want one. I'm going to have to add that to my collection at some point. And caliber, probably going to have to go with 9mm because that's what I've shot a whole lot.
Okay. All right. So the last question, we tend to tailor it to the guest. Yeah, you are 22 years old, so you're a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
What are your life aspirations?
Just pretty much just keep doing what I'm doing. Try to grow my shooting ability even farther. And I'd really like to be one year maybe be on the world team for the world shoot.
Were you reading my questions?
No,
that's one of my questions. I feel like somebody leaked my questions to you. All right, well, that's cool. So I take it then that you would want to be a national champion too.
That is my plan. That's why we're going to nationals this year.
Okay. And we'll come back to that.
All right.
So a couple of things. We have found some interesting similarities between certain national champions. First question I have is how tall are you?
6'1.5".
Okay, so 5'13" and a half. All right. Yeah. Did you grow up on a farm?
I did.
Oh,
Check.
2 for 2. Were you homeschooled?
I was.
Oh, the next big name in national.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet our next national champion.
Here we go. Checked all
Got
3
all of them.
boxes. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. 100%.
Well, you heard it here
right.
first. This is exclusive from Casual Shooter Podcast. We are interviewing the next national champion.
August
We'll see what
20th,
happens in 3
2022.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So when did you first shoot a firearm?
I was 4 or 5, shooting 22s in the backyard and stuff like that.
Okay. So I take it then you've probably hunted?
Yeah, I did. Grew up squirrel hunting and rabbit hunting, and then when I think I was 11 or 12 when I first went deer hunting.
Okay. What'd you use first time you went deer hunting? What'd you use?
A 94 30-30 with iron sights.
Lever action?
Yes, sir.
It seems like all 30-30s are lever action. So
Yeah, I shot
sense.
my first deer with that. It was about 85 yards away.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it was a good shot. I was proud of that one.
Yeah, I bet. Nice. Doe or buck?
8-point buck.
Nice. Is it hanging? Is the rack hanging up somewhere?
Yes, there it is. It's one of my favorite things to just look at. You know, getting an 8-point buck for my first deer was definitely an adrenaline rush.
That's pretty solid. So, at what point? So you said in your intro you've been shooting for 7 years. So that puts you about 15. How did you come about shooting USPSA that young?
So my brother was working down at CMP Talladega Marksmanship Park at the time. He was actually running the action pistol base, and I went down there for a weekend. He goes, "Hey, we're gonna shoot this match." I'm like, "Man, I don't know what I'm doing." He goes, "That's fine. Here's your gear. Let's do it." And here I am now. I got hooked the first time.
So going down to Talladega in 3 weeks is like, man, I've been here. It's no big deal.
I've been. That was the first place I shot a match, so it's like home to me.
There you go. Wow, that's like home field advantage right there.
That's it. I shot that match in December. So it was December of 2015. So I was barely 16 years old. So it's like 6.5 years I've actually been shooting.
Okay.
My birthday is on Monday, so I barely knew what I was doing, and I was told like a week in advance that I was going to shoot it. So I spent the entire week looking up rules, watching videos. You know, I grew up watching JJ on Top Shot and stuff like that. Man, being able to meet him in person is a cool experience, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's like a bigger than life.
Yeah, he really is.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Which is ironic because you look down at him.
Well, we probably weigh about the same. All that muscle probably weighs just as much as I do.
I mean, I will say that's a great brother right there. That's like, hey, you're going to shoot stuff. Enjoy.
Yeah. Here's your gun. Here's your ammo. Have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a cool brother.
So I take it then you probably started in production?
I actually started in limited minor.
Limited minor.
I've only ever shot 2 matches in limited minor, and those were my first 2. After that, I went to production.
So basically, you shot a production gun with something that made it
with extended magazine.
Okay, there we go.
The first match I shot a Smith & Wesson M&P, the 5-inch model, and then the second match I shot a 4 1/4-inch M&P. The
what
short
are you shooting now?
So I after shooting both of them, I decided I liked the 4 1/4-inch better, and that was my first handgun that I bought. And I shot that in production for 4.5 years.
Is that what do you still shoot that in production?
No, I moved up to a CZ Shadow 2.
And same thing in carry optics or?
Same thing in carry optics, yes.
So it's like shooting the same gun, so there's no difference.
Yeah, exactly.
How long did it take you from that first match to make GM?
To make GM, it took me like I want to say 5 years. I kind of hit a plateau. I made masterclass in 6 months of shooting.
Wow. Okay.
And then I kind of hit a plateau and just kind of stuck. I was trying too hard to make GM, and it wasn't working too well.
Trying to force it.
Once you stop trying and just shoot the classifiers, it'll happen.
So what do you think? What do you think was the catalyst for being able to get over that hump?
Realizing that being a GM, especially nowadays, doesn't really mean that much. There are so many paper GMs now that it doesn't really mean that much. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm like, I'm just going to shoot the classifiers like any other stage and just do it. And I made GM 1 week before Nationals in 2019. I was a bunch of my buddies like, man, you don't need to shoot that classifier. You need to specifically, try to mess it up. I'm like, nope, I'm just going to shoot it. And I made GM.
Oh, so instead of winning M class at Nationals, they thrust you right into that upper echelon.
I didn't win anything. But goodness. That's all right, because I was still 6th at Nationals that year.
Wow. Now, 2019. Yeah, that was at Frostproof. That was Leo's first time shooting Nationals.
There you go.
Okay. How did you like...
I didn't win anything either.
I mean, I got something off the prize table. I think I got a CZ P10F off the prize table. Immediately turned around and sold it,
Wow.
but I think that's what I picked up that year.
Okay.
I got to watch people go to the prize table. Pretty cool.
It's a cool experience, right?
You're like, man, that looks like fun. This is good food.
So what I'm hearing is USPSA does give away cash prizes. That's what I just heard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So did you go to nationals in 2020 then?
I did. I was on the production super squad that year.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, the three of us would have seen you shoot then because we sat there and watched the super squad shoot a few stages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I had some gun issues, so I didn't shoot too well, but I think I was still like 15th or something like that by the end of it.
Now, that's the one Jacob won, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Jacob's a heck of a shooter, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's also tall and like
Tall and
Nils
slender, and
yep.
I'm just tall. I'm not so slender.
Now, do you plan on shooting production nationals this year?
Probably not production nationals. I'm thinking about limited nationals just for fun. But production, I kind of burnt myself out on production for shooting it for 4.5 years straight, and it's kind of a dead division now. Not many people shoot it.
I wouldn't say that to Jacob. That'll be interesting because I'm wondering. Nils is shooting carry optics. Obviously, I'm trying to. I can't remember if. Dang it! I had a picture. I'm trying to think if Jacob is. I don't recall. Where in the world did I put it? Yeah, I don't see Jacob here on the carry optics one, but I'm sure he's going to be there at production.
Yeah,
My question is, I'm thinking Nils will probably be there too. So still be quite a bit of heat at production.
Yeah, definitely
nationals.
still be quite a bit of heat at nationals.
Now, what would you shoot? Because obviously you're not going to. Well, I mean, I won't say that. Maybe you would shoot limited minor. Nils did. So
yeah, Nils did and almost pulled it off.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Let me go back here. Now I lost my place. All right. So you might shoot limited. What would you be shooting at if you did decide to do that? What gun would you be shooting?
I'd probably borrow somebody's, specifically built limited gun, probably my brother's. He builds limited guns and open guns for a living now. So I'd probably grab his and borrow it.
Now, does he have his own company? He builds them himself?
He does.
Or?
Yeah, he builds them down out of Alabama. Competitive Shooting Solutions is his company.
Okay, I was about to ask that. We'll give him a shout out. Competitive Shooting Solutions. Okay.
He's been making a bunch of open guns and limited guns, and he also does regular gunsmithing and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
So is he still around the Talladega area then?
Yep, right outside. It's Anniston, right near Oxford and in that area.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's very close by. Now, so you said you turned 23 on Monday?
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
But that means you had just turned 20 then the first time you shot nationals, and you were on the super squad.
Yep.
So how did you deal with the pressure at that time? Because that's a lot of pressure, and that's young, not having a whole lot of life experience dealing with that kind of stuff. So how'd you deal with that?
Man, it definitely was a lot of pressure. Like I said, you're growing up watching JJ, watching Blake Maguez, watching all these top name guys. Seeing him in person, it was definitely a humbling experience for sure. But really, what I think sets GMs from M's or even A classes apart is the mental game, being able to just block that out and shoot your game, which is I've really grown that skill since then. That's when I was on the super squad, the first stage we shot had like 25-yard papers to shoot. It was a whole lot of long shots, especially for a production gun. And I was close to the end of the shooting order, and every single person had a mic on that stage. And seeing that, I'm like, man, these guys are just human. Growing up, and even now, you watch them shoot, like, man, these things are robots. They're not actually human. They're cyborgs. But watching them all have a mic, and I also had a mic. I think I might have had two mics. Like, they're just human. Anything that they can do, you can do too with a little bit of training. So pretty much after the first stage, I didn't really feel any pressure in that regard. I just felt, pressure of performing.
Okay. 2 questions on that. What you said that you have done some things since then to really up your mental game. What types of things have you done? So
it's really just, dealing with life, and then showing up at a match and being able to what some people say, leave it in the parking lot, leave it in the car, deal with life later, deal with what you got to do now, right here. One of my best matches to date, there was a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I was able to just completely shut all that out. It was the Tennessee match, I want to say of 2020, and I won production, beating Tyler Turner and like 4 or 5 other GMs. I was just able to block everything out. It's not really anything you can really train. It's more just experience on dealing with it, and you get better and better as time goes on.
Okay. Now we're going to have Tyler on so he can rebut this, but I'm just playing around. But that brings up the other part that I wanted to ask. I mean, Tyler's no slouch. He's a high-level GM. So did you ever in those earlier days feel like you had to go faster, or you had to do something different in order to beat these guys? Or have you always just been able to go, you know what, as long as I stick to my game plan and maintain my focus, I'll be okay?
I've absolutely pushed the speed to beat people. For a while, I even still struggle with this. I like to go faster than what I need to, and so I end up dropping too many points. But
okay,
I was able to build that speed so high that dropping 4 or 5 extra Charlies didn't really hurt me.
Okay.
But shooting major matches where Tyler is shooting, a stage with 2 Charlies in 20 seconds, and then I come in and shoot it in 18 seconds with 20 Charlies, it didn't really help very well.
Yeah, that doesn't balance out very well.
No, it doesn't. So I've absolutely watched people and like, man, I got to shoot faster than that. But looking back now, you just got to shoot your game. You are your only competition at a match. It doesn't matter what JJ does or Tyler does. You just got to shoot what you can shoot.
Yeah, I kind of found that out the hard way too. You do that.
Same.
Like I've learned I've learned a lot of things at local matches where I've made the mistake of, oh, I didn't even think of that stage plan. Let me try that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, you didn't, it wasn't in your head. You didn't mentally rehearse it. So it is a complete disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good one. I don't care what they're doing. I'm not doing that. I'm doing mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get it. That's why I was asking, because that's, when you're competing with somebody or a group of people, you were like, what do I need to do to keep up with them or surpass them? And that's how you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of training, what does your training look like? And I want to break it down into like after nationals. So let's say starting November 1, because all the nationals will be done by then, until about, we'll say March 1. What does your training look like?
Typically, very little during that time. I typically take an off season.
Okay.
I think last year after nationals, I didn't touch my belt for like 6 or 7 months. I didn't touch it. I completely stopped doing anything competition related just to give myself an off season, because it got to the point where I'm like, man, this is work. I don't want it to be work. I want to be able to enjoy it. And so after I took that 7 month off season, I'm back to enjoying it.
Okay.
So
and you're not feeling the burnout right now.
Exactly. No, I'm 100% ready to go. This is in between, June to October. That's my time.
So do you think you're going to do that from now on, like year to year, just take plenty of time off so you don't feel that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might not take 7 months off, because it took me a little bit to get back in the rhythm. Burning off the rust, dry fire, and local matches. So I might take 2 to 3 months off. I think that'll be the about the perfect sweet spot.
Okay.
But I'll absolutely start taking an off season during the wintertime.
Yeah, I do that as well. It went a little bit longer for me, but part of the thing too is, with all the ammo situation, the primer situation, it kind of forced a little bit more of an off season, but I kind of like that time off to focus on other things too, kind of clear your head.
You get to focus on personal life for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you a different perspective. So you took, we'll say 6 months off. So starting about roughly April, maybe the beginning of May, you start back up into training. What did that look like? Now you're trying to ramp up for normal, locals and maybe some level 2 stuff. But what does that start to look like?
Dry firing every night for about 30 minutes. That's my training regimen. I don't live fire almost at all. I think in the 7 years that I have been shooting, almost 7 years, I might have shot 7,000 rounds in dedicated live fire at most. When I started, being 16, I didn't have the money to go spend, 1,000 rounds a week live firing. So I would dry fire probably 4 hours a day at that point to get better.
Wow. Okay.
I'd wake up, I'd do like 2 hours in the morning, do whatever I needed to do throughout the day, and then 2 hours in the evening. And so now since I'm more of an adult and have a job and stuff, I can't really do that. So
right. Life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way of that. So I typically do about 30 to 45 minutes in the evening of dry fire.
Okay. You sound a lot like Jay Beal. I mean, that's 95% of what he does is dry fire. I mean, he does very little live fire.
Yeah. Everything that you can do in live fire, you can do in dry fire, and it's cheaper.
Oh, for sure. It's cheaper. That is for sure.
The only thing you cannot practice in dry fire is recoil control.
I was going to say recoil management. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
So did you notice there being any difference? If all you're doing, like younger when you were in your teens and all you're doing is dry fire, and then you go to a match, how hard was that, or difficult was the transition from dry fire to live fire in a match? Like, was it harder to be patient? Okay. All right. Now, at what point during this, so what area matches have you shot this year?
I've actually only ever shot one area match, and it was Area 6 in 2017, I think.
Okay. Have you shot any other major matches this year other than nationals coming up?
Let's see. I shot Alabama sectional. I shot Mississippi, Kentucky, and I'm going to shoot nationals in Tennessee.
So do you do anything different for training for Alabama sectional, Kentucky, any of those other ones?
Typically, I'll look at the match book and see like what start positions are, and see if there's any weird like strong hand, weak hand shooting or anything like that, and I'll add that into the dry fire. If there's like at nationals, there's a bunch of unloaded starts, so I've been adding that into my dry fire at night is unloaded starts and stuff like that.
There's also a lot of strong hand, weak hand, and
a lot of
unloaded
strong hand,
starts.
weak hand. It's a lot of Virginia count at nationals too.
Yeah, this is not going to be a fun nationals.
And it doesn't look like it, no.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, that really does, I want to say, level the field and make it a little bit even more competitive because, I mean, maybe Mason might have an advantage because that 1 year, all he could do was shoot strong hand because of his wrist.
Yeah.
So he might have an advantage because he's shot more one-handed shooting than anybody else. But I mean, that really kind of neutralizes whatever advantages certain shooters may have, So have you, now that's the next one, ramping up for nationals. Have you expanded your dry fire sessions, or are you just specializing it to some of the craziness you're going to have to do?
A little bit of both. I've started doing a little longer. So about, a month ago and farther, I was doing probably about 15 minutes dry fire, 20 just to get it in. And now I'm doing 45 minutes to an hour. And it's way more, especially, random things that I'm going to have to do at nationals, and a lot more visual practice as well. So like, making sure I'm seeing everything I need to see during reloads, during transitions, all that.
Okay, so you're really focusing in on those finer details.
Yeah, it's less gross motor skills and more specific, fine details of everything.
Okay. I like that. Now, do you have a coach, or do you train with someone that gives you feedback, or do you talk to your brother about this stuff? How do you get feedback? Do you just video yourself?
A little bit of both. I've actually never taken a class from anybody professionally. I would like to at some point. But I'll video myself and rewatch it. I'll send it to several of my shooting buddies, and they'll give me feedback as well. But really, I'll just watch videos of like even matches. I think recording matches, even local matches, is super important for training purposes. You can go back and watch it and notice exactly what you did. You watch it in slow motion. You can watch it 20 times and really take apart, like, man, why did I step like that? Why did I drop my magazine like that? You can really nitpick apart a stage and start analyzing yourself in grave detail.
Yeah, because what you see when you're shooting the stage sometimes looks completely different when you watch the video later. You're like,
absolutely, you're like, man, that looks so good, and then you watch the video like, oh, that looks horrible.
Yeah, it's like, why did I shoot from back there? That doesn't make any sense. But during the stage,
why did I shoot that array in that order? That was dumb.
It's crazy. So if you had the opportunity, someone came to you and said, Garran, you can train with whatever trainer, shooter you want to in the world, would you pick someone who shoots similar to you or completely different from you?
I would probably say similar.
Okay.
Throwing names out, I would probably pick Christian.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
you guys are very close in age too, so.
And arguably he's the best handgun shooter in the world right now.
Yeah, you can make that argument. That is for sure.
He is the only person to my knowledge to ever win all area matches and nationals in 1 year.
The only person I would arguably say who's better than him is Eric Graffel.
That's also a super solid option. I want to see them go head to head.
That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember when Bob Vogel beat him in that head to head 2012, 2009, 2012, summer 2014.
Yeah, I watched that podcast too. I don't remember the number.
I don't either, but that was quite a while ago, and nobody has beaten him since. So it's hard to bet against that guy.
I'd love to meet Eric in person.
I would too. Seems like a really cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched some of his stuff, his training stuff, and he seems like he's one of those that knows every little thing about shooting and can explain every little thing about it. Mm-hmm. That guy is crazy good.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to shoot. It's another thing to be able to explain why you did something.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to take a class from him, and I wouldn't even care one bit about firing around. I would just want to pick his brain and know everything that he knows about shooting.
Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is that he's still learning every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It'll be interesting if they have the world shoot and he's there and see how that turns out.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to put you in an odd position real quick.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to have you step into the shoes of the Las Vegas odds makers. You have to extract yourself from nationals. You're not allowed to include yourself. Who do you place the early odds on winning Carry Optics Nationals?
I'm going to say I think it's going to be a really close race between JJ and Christian. And I'm leaning more towards Christian.
He's been very quiet lately.
Mm-hmm. Very quiet.
Yeah. It's almost like radio silence. He hasn't been competing in any of the area matches or anything. That dude's got to be training hard.
Oh, yeah. And, he shoots a carry optics gun like he shoots an open gun.
Well, and the crazy thing is, I know I have this one up. Let me slide this over. All right, let me share a screen with you real quick, because I found this interesting as well. Whoa. Okay, let's not do that. Let me get rid of that. Wow. There we go. That's better. I don't know what that was about. All right, let's go. So they all three, Max, JJ, and Christian, all shot area 6. And they were all within, 3.68% of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time Christian that I'm aware of has shot carry optics at a major with those other guys. So
yeah.
And he hasn't done it since. Because if I were to scroll back down, you can see Max, Nils, Dazi, Max, Tom Castro, Nils. So I am sure that whatever he learned at that match, he has been back training on hard. This is why I say this is definitely going to be the most hotly contested Carry Optics Nationals. You might even say Nationals period ever.
Yeah, I'd argue Nationals ever.
Yeah, let's go back to something else real quick here. We'll share this screen real quick. Nope. I don't know why it keeps wanting to do that. I'm not into seizure-like activity, so I'm not gonna. So Mason, Phil, Nils, JJ, Max, Christian. I don't know if Shannon has won one before or not. I'd have to go back and look. But there are at least 6 past national champions on that list. Mm-hmm. And Mason's won more than in one squad. Yeah, crazy. Mm-hmm. Mason's won more than one. Nils has won more than one. Max has won a whole crap ton. JJ's won a bunch. Christian's won several. I mean, these aren't, one and done type national championship shooters. These guys are top of the line world beaters. So, and they're all coming to one match to shoot against each other. That's going to be nuts.
People say that if it's not repetitive, it was just luck, and I think they pretty much proved that.
Yeah, they have proven that they have the skills to shoot against anybody, and that's the whole reason I'm shooting on the opposite time frame that you guys are, so I can come down and watch you guys shoot those stages, because that's nuts.
I think we're starting on zone 3 this year. I think.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay, that's where I started last year. What did you think of Zone 3 last year?
I enjoyed it, especially the ammo can stage. I enjoyed the ammo can stage.
Yeah, I did too. I actually enjoyed it, but that's where I started, and I wish I had started on a different zone so I could at least get a warm-up zone in before I hit that zone.
Right.
Because going straight to that one is like, dang, nabbit.
There was a whole lot of discussion on how to shoot that stage. A couple people wanted to run all the way down and drop the ammo can and shoot back it up. And they're like, man, I don't know if I can shoot all this strong hand. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. It'll waste time running down there. And after the draw, I shot, I think it was 2 targets off the draw, and I had 2 alphas on both of them. I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not beating that many people, one-handed shooting in an entire stage, but that's what I did, and it turned out pretty solid. So
yeah, it turned out to be a good stage. I liked it. I know that a lot of people complained about it, but I enjoyed it.
Now, do you know Luigi Lee?
I don't think so.
Okay, he typically, he's a tall, lanky guy. Usually wears crazy high top socks. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's a character. Good guy. We shot with him last year on that stage. At the beep, he dropped the can and took off running, shooting targets. All the way down to the end. I actually recorded it. I'll have to pull it out sometime. I need to post it. And then he ran all the way down to the end and activated the thing with his foot. And it's like, I mean, there was a procedural. He lost points for procedures, but his time was way faster than anybody else. Yeah. I'd have to go back and check and see where he ended up on that stage. But I was like, well, I don't have the ability. There's no way that would work for me, because
I wonder how many penalties he got.
I don't remember. He asked them, before he shot, he's like, how many penalties am I going to accrue? And they said, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay. He totaled them. He goes, okay. It's like,
did some quick math real quick.
He did. I want to say it was like 30 points or something. And he's like, okay. And I guess that's when he's like, all right, I'm just going to drop.
Let's do it.
We didn't know. Like, we all had our cameras up. We're like recording. And then he dropped it and ran. We're all like, it was funny. Did you have a favorite stage from last year?
Not really a favorite. I mean, most of them were really solid field courses. I'm not a huge fan of stand and shoot stages, and even like speed shoots where they're activated sequences and stuff like that. I think those are almost as much luck as they are skill. But being able to come up with a stage plan for a field course, that takes some skill.
Okay. Did you have a favorite zone? Like, my favorite zone was, I think it was zone 1. It just kind of played more to my strength.
That was a good one.
Okay. 3 didn't play to my strength, just because there was a lot of strong hand weekend and some other stuff. So I did okay, but
yeah, zone 3 was just about surviving it. You weren't going to win or lose. You weren't going to win the match off of it, but you could absolutely lose it.
Yeah, you sure could. But it was fun. I really enjoyed that match. This is going to be an interesting one with all the strong hand weekend and unloaded
hopefully they do a little bit about timing this year. Hopefully we don't have to shoot in the dark.
Yeah. Wow, that was nuts.
Did that affect you? I almost had to shoot in the dark. It wasn't quite dark yet.
Yeah, we ended up on. Did we end up on the ammo stage? No, we did not. I think the ammo can stage was our next to last one.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up on the first stage of Zone 3. So we had, plenty of space. We were away from the trees. We didn't have a berm or anything. So we still had plenty of light. I think the guy who shot in the dark, wasn't he the last stage on Zone 2 down in that hole?
Yeah, down that dark hole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where that guy ended up shooting. We had one guy get DQ'd there.
Mm.
That was our very last stage of the match.
All the way down to with the low fort.
Yep. And the RO was like, oh, or the CRO, I forget if it was a CRO or just one of the ROs, was like, oh, you guys haven't lost anybody through DQ? And we're like, nope. And wouldn't you know it, that stage, a guy, I forget what he was doing, but he ended up shooting the ground like a foot in front of his foot.
You're not supposed to do that.
No, that was close. And he was a really good shooter too.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a master class carry optics guy. He was really good. So it was.
I think we lost one to a DQ. It was Joel Fisher, I think was his name.
Okay, Joel's a local guy here.
I think it was zone 2. You had this rectangle shooting box, and you started in the middle, touching the wall, and you had to run back.
Yes,
he drew and broke the 180 on that, barely. I mean, it was like 180.2.
Yeah, they were watching that super close because so that was day 3 for me, and I ran, and as I ran, I put my hand on the grip of my pistol. And I waited till I got there and I drew, and I heard somebody yell something, but I just thought it was, somebody else watching or whatever, somebody walking by, whatever the case was. So I kept shooting. I almost paused for a second, but I just kept shooting. I'm like, well, I'll just shoot. But I got done. And the guy's like, did you hear anything? I was like, no. And then they're like, well, I yelled, stop. Did that bother you? And I was like, no. He goes, okay. And apparently what he thought was I was drawing my gun. But all I did was put my hand on the grip.
Right.
So
I think I did the same thing. I think I just grabbed it and waited till I got in the shooting area.
Yeah. So they were watching that very close. I don't know what they were told, but apparently they were watching that.
I think stages like that are asking just to DQ people.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling too.
So. If you have to retreat off the draw without having to shoot anything, it kind of just looks like you're looking to DQ people.
It would have been I guess, how people classify more of an American USPSA stage, but I do think it would have been exciting to see that same stage with a start outside the box, unloaded start on the far left side, and then let people step in the box, load, and go, because it would have been interesting to see people like JJ and Max and Nils, how quickly they could load and just keep moving to the right and never stop and shoot all those targets all the way down.
Yeah, I mean, even if you move that start position from where it was back into the middle of the shooting area or towards the back fault line, that way you have options on which way you want to go with an unloaded start. I think that'd be a really fun stage.
Yeah, that would be. And it would be a fun stage to watch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lots of shooting on the move and gun manipulation. It'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel's another one of those guys. Tall, lanky, fast, quick. Yeah. He's got a future ahead of him, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He just has to stop, putting out kids. It's slowing him down.
They kind of slow you down a little bit.
It does. Oh, that's funny. All right. So obviously you know who Jay Beal is. This is the question he waits for every single episode. So you're at stage 1 of nationals. So zone 3, very first stage of the day. And the RO says, make ready. What does that look like for Garran?
So typically draw and do a sight picture once or twice. If I didn't like the way the gun presented or something like that, I'll reholster and do it again. A lock slide to the rear and grab the back magazine or the second to back magazine, insert, slide stop, press check, make sure that it actually chambered, let the hammer down, and then grab a new mag, top it off so I have 24 rounds. And I do that on any stage. It doesn't matter if I'm shooting 5 rounds or 32 rounds. I'm always starting the stage with 24 rounds. It's just a part of the make ready. It just happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
So holster it, and then I will run through my stage plan once or twice with my eyes open and then with my eyes closed to, and really, really looking at footwork, foot positioning, sight picture, all that. Like, when I close my eyes and look through the stage, I am seeing red dot on each one of my targets, exactly where I need to put that red dot and pull the trigger. After that, I grip the gun and I grip my first magazine. I take a really deep breath, drop my hands down to my sides, and go for it.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of detail. Now, not every target is, the normal full-size USPSA target.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you? Because look, I'm assuming, because I'm a B class. I've got some A class qualifiers, but I'm not at that level, and my work schedule changed and all that, so I've actually got less time to shoot matches and do other stuff. But anyway, one of the things that I realized I had to work on was not all the targets are normal USPSA targets. Now they're taking IPSC targets, they're turning them sideways, and you don't see that shaped target all the time. Mm-hmm. So how did you do anything special in training in dry fire so that you could burn into your memory exactly where your sight picture will be for each of those different types of targets?
I just started putting my targets in dry fire at weird angles and turning them at weird angles, putting weird no shoot positionings on them and stuff like that. That's really something that you have to look at during your walkthroughs. You're like, okay, that target is sideways, and that no shoot is covering 3/4 of the no shoot of the A zone. Where do I need to put my dot? Well, it's going to be right on that A zone, C zone line, and if I get 2 C's, okay, it's better than an alpha no shoot.
For sure, yeah, yeah. Because I found myself, I think it was the Delmarva sectional this year. It's where Area 8 was held last year. Mm-hmm. But one of the targets was just in a weird position. So during walkthrough, I caught myself walking up to the target and examining it up close and going, okay, that's where I need to be aiming. And then, doing the rest of my walkthrough. And that's where it kind of dawned on me. I was like, I need to come up with a way that I don't have to plan for that. I should already know where I need to be shooting.
Right.
So that I don't have to think about it. It's just automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are the questions I have, Garran. Do you is there anything you want to add, or any sponsors?
I'll give a shout out to my main sponsors. I'm sponsored by Black Bullets, International. Super good bullets, super cheap. They always have them in stock. And Keith Warner Gunsmithing out here in Germantown, Tennessee. It's been great to me. And then I already shouted out my brother. He doesn't need 2 of them.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a great conversation.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me. Let's do it again after Nationals.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely going to come up to you at Nationals and shake your hand.
I look forward to meeting you.
All right. I appreciate it, Garran.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.